Nutrition. Learn more about it right after this.
My college offers classes that meet my educational and career goals.
With opportunities outside the classroom.
Where the faculty know me by name.
My college can prepare me for my career.
I can earn an associate's degree and transfer credits toward my bachelor's.
My college is a state college within the university system of Georgia.
My college is affordable.
It's close to home.
My college has online opportunities.
It's where excellence begins.
We are
GHC, Georgia Highlands College.
Welcome to Community Watch. Greg,
Doug.
how you doing?
Good, doing well.
You look all businessy like today.
Had a little business I had to take care of,
Handling business.
Business.
Not that you do that every day, of course.
I do.
But, yeah.
But today, it's a little different.
Well, we're talking nutrition and diabetes today.
Interesting subject.
And I know you are aware that I'm on a kind of imposed diet so I'm not diabetic, but I'm close enough where
But I
they...
am, so this is going to be an interesting show, because I have a lot of questions.
Well, I'm curious too, because so you're on an imposed diet.
No.
So you should be on an imposed
Yes.
diet. Okay, all right, I got it now. But our guest will join us right after this, Andrea Lee. She's an expert in all these areas. She's going to tell us what we're doing wrong, what we need to be doing. So this could be an important show for you. So stay with us. We'll be right back after this.
Hi, may I please have an application? Thank you.
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
Okay.
Take that first step towards a better future. Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
Welcome back to Community Watch. We're very happy to have with us today Andrea Lee. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good to see you.
You too.
All right. So what is your title?
I'm a registered dietitian,
And you're working at Harbin or with Harbin?
I work with Harbin 3 days a week. I work there part-time. Mm-hmm.
But you started out at Georgia Highlands.
I did, yes.
So how did you decide on this particular area to study?
I always wanted to do it. That's why I came to Georgia Highlands. I wanted to get my start here. I knew there's other programs that offered it right off the bat, but I knew I can get credits that transferred over. Mm-hmm. And since I was a new mom, it kind of worked out for me. So yeah.
So you had a good experience at Georgia Highlands?
I did. I love it.
Yeah.
I loved it here.
So that's what we like to hear.
Yeah.
Well, make sure you sign up for the Alumni Association.
Okay.
What was your major while you were at Highlands?
It was just biology.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. We have programs of study really rather than majors.
Yeah, I just took all the nursing with the prerequisites for nursing.
And then where did you complete?
Georgia State.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep.
And then
yeah.
And then after that?
University of Alabama.
I'll see. All right.
So you went all the way around just to say she went to Alabama. Okay.
Well, I think Georgia State in there too.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And Highlands, Georgia State, and
Alabama.
So
no one could be better prepared than Andrea.
You know he shares the same pedigree, right?
Yes.
We've talked about it.
This. Yeah. So yeah.
All right. So I know your specialty or one of your specialties is diabetes.
Diabetes education. Yeah. I work in the endocrinology office, and then we have the diabetes education attached to that.
So help me. The impression I'm getting, I'm guessing no for sure, but the impression I'm getting is that diabetes is something that's increasing.
Yes. About 90% of people who have diabetes have type 2, and I think 2 out of 10 people are becoming diabetic, type 2 diabetic.
So what is type 2? What does that mean?
Type 2 diabetes is either the cells of your body are not using the insulin that your body is making properly, or your pancreas has decreased the amount of insulin it's making. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you eat food, it turns into sugar in your blood, and then your pancreas will secrete insulin, exactly the amount of insulin you need to cover that glucose. So the insulin takes the glucose out of your bloodstream and puts it into the cells of your body. But the cells of your body can resist the insulin that your body is making, and that's why it's called insulin resistant. Sometimes you hear that as type 2. So insulin acts like a key to unlock that cell, and that cell becomes rusty, like a rusty lock after a while. Yeah.
So I know there is a type of, well, there are, I guess, several types of diabetes, but
Type 1, type 2, and there's gestational, and also type 3, which is new.
new.
They're doing studies on type 3. I just did an education on it. It's Alzheimer's. It's called type 3.
So is type 1 the kind that some folks are born with?
Yeah, so it's that's the juvenile diabetes. They call it juvenile diabetes, and that's when your pancreas doesn't make any insulin at all. So you have to have medication. You have to have insulin injections right off the bat.
Okay. So type 2 is what can be affected by diet?
Yes, it is. It can be affected by lifestyle. True.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So type 2 is something we're doing to ourselves?
It could be. It's hereditary. I mean, if it runs in families, then you have a bigger chance of having it. And also, if you have gestational diabetes, usually it goes away after you have the baby, but you have more chance of getting type 2 after you have the baby. Yeah. So a lot of
yeah, it's our lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle. Yeah. She's being nice about it, but
yes.
Yeah, right.
So some of the characteristics of people who have diabetes it's not necessary, but most of the characteristics are fat around the belly. So
Check.
yeah. But it doesn't have to be. That's just one of the things that they have picked out. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a weight
It could
issue.
be, yes. Mm-hmm.
And other than just being heavy, is it related at all to the kinds of things you eat and exercise and all
Yes.
those things?
So exercise is one of those things that makes your cells more sensitive to insulin. So yes. So more exercise.
This is just not, that's
Yeah.
not good news. Really.
Do I look excited?
No.
I mean,
No,
I know what she gonna tell me.
I don't know.
But I am curious because I do go see my doctor, and I've been maintaining my blood sugar to correct levels. My A1C is what he wants to be. But it seems like there's a lot of, for me, controversy or confusion over really what is good, what's not good. Like I think the American Diabetes Association still recommend you use low-calorie drinks. But there are some, you do hear people talk about studies that the saccharin or whatever, sucralose and all these other things are just as harmful. So are there any new studies that really point to like what are some for as low-calorie drinks like diet drinks or versus something like Splenda, an artificial sweetener? Or are there any more studies that kind of tell which one is one better than the other?
I don't know much about it. I know there are studies out there that say, have harmful effects and things like that. As far as I know, I still recommend those things to my patients because we do not want them to have regular sugar drinks. Yes, if you're drinking like 2 gallons of Diet Coke or whatever the drink of choice is, then of course maybe there'll be some symptoms. I just warn them that sugar-free substitutes are 100 times sweeter than sugar, and having that in your mouth all the time could make you crave sugar anyway. So just using it when you have to, like if you have to have a bubbly drink, it's fine, but not using it all day long is, I don't recommend that.
See, that means I can't drink. I guess I can't call it. I can't call it unsweet tea if it's sweetened with Splenda, then really, because it's not that sweet.
Why can't you just get off of that stuff and just have unsweetened tea? You could have tea.
Well, are you drinking it like all day long?
You can do that. You're strong.
No, I can't. No, I do. Well, we've cut back tremendously, but you just start looking when you start the research. Are the I like Splenda, but is it better? Then you just, sometimes I just think it's very confusing. Even when you get into your fruits and vegetables, fruits have a lot of sugar in them.
They do.
So some are worse than others. So really, for me, over the period of dealing with my diabetes, it's really almost a constant re-education of trying to really get the best data out there.
Right.
Because it seems like it kind of changes with more research.
It does, and where you can go to get the latest data on that is the American Diabetes Association or the American Association for Diabetes Educators. They have a website that you can go to, and it tells you the latest things that are going on right now. So, or you can come to me, and I'll help you.
I got that.
There you go.
Do you have this?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
When you get a patient, new patient, new, I don't know if you call them patients or clients.
I call them patients. Yes.
Okay. Is there kind of a universal diet for folks who have diabetes
Yes.
2? Or do you individualize them at all, or is it just kind of a standard for everybody?
For men and women, it's a little different. Okay, so I do put them on a low carb diet. So carbohydrates are what affect your blood sugar, and those are starches and grains, fruits and milk. So I do let them know how many servings they can have per meal. So a certain amount of servings, and most of the times women have less than men. And then, yeah.
So go back. You said starches and grains.
Fruit and milk are all considered carbohydrates, and when you do consume them, they do affect your blood sugar, and that happens for everybody.
So it's not so much, I've learned, it's not so much looking at the sugar content on the back as much as it is looking at the total carb.
Total carbohydrate. The sugar and the fibers are included in that number, so it's easier just to look at the total carbs. Yep. And
well, what do you do about fruit, which is supposed to be good for you?
I recommend that you eat your fruit at your dinner, or your meal. So eat your fruit as your carbohydrate serving. So if you're going to have, well, I have this right here, but I'll just explain it.
Yeah.
So we use the plate method now. We don't use the food guide pyramid. So for diabetics, we have the plate, and you have your protein, and you have your non-starchy vegetables, which is all your salad and your green beans and all your water vegetables. And then you have your starchy rice or bread or whatever. What was the question again?
Well, I asked you about fruit, but this is pretty interesting.
Yes. Okay, so you have your like rice or potato or anything, and then as your second serving, you can have your fruit. So eat it with your meal. Don't eat it as a snack. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So eat your carbs at your meal, and then in between meals, eat your non-carbs. So your nuts and your vegetables, and you can do proteins in between. Yeah.
So that kind of really goes against what I think a lot of us were taught years ago, that you're going to have a healthy snack, have an apple, have a fruit or something.
Yes.
But really, you're saying we should be eating those carbs with
your meal. Yes. Yep.
So, well, how many carbs are allowed at a meal, or would you recommend?
I would recommend for somebody like you both 45 to 60 grams, which is
someone like you picked up on that. Yeah, okay.
But I already knew that.
So it's 3 to 4 servings. So
per day.
A meal, 3 to 4 servings per meal. So a serving of carb would be a piece of bread. So a sandwich would be 2 servings, and so you can have 3 to 4. So a sandwich
that seems
would take
like a lot to me.
It does, doesn't it? But you're keeping them consistent. That's the thing that people have a problem with. They eat carbs all day long, And the trick is to eat them consistent throughout the day.
We're coming up on a break, but I want to pick up with this because this is fascinating to me. Stay with us. We will be right back with more after this.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Community Watch. We're having a conversation with Andrea Lee, who is a nutritionist with Harmon Clinic. And we're talking about diets and diabetes.
Right.
Okay. And carbs.
And carbs.
All right. So you were allowing me a lot more than I thought I could have.
Right. Yes. That's just a range. So 45 to 60 grams of carb is 3 to 4 servings. So if you had 2 servings, that's fine. If you had 4 servings, that's fine. Just don't go over the 4.
Wait a minute. It's not this. You don't have to eat them. She said there's a range.
I know,
it's a range.
That's more than I thought.
Is that
I
why you
was
don't eat
allowed.
the croutons on
That's
the side before you
correct.
get to see about the
I say
croutons?
hold the crouton.
Well, I would rather you eat something healthy as your carb. You know, like a fruit. Add more serving. It gives you a chance to add more servings of fruit in there. And you know.
So some carbohydrates are better than others?
I would say so. I mean, anything from a package, you know, cookies and stuff. Yeah. I would say an apple is better than cookies. Yes, I can say that.
I don't even think of cookies as a carb, but I suppose it's on there. Yeah. So I'm trying to find out what a serving actually is.
Okay, so a serving. Okay, an example of a serving, it would be a half a cup of beans. That's a serving. That's 15 grams. A third of a cup of pasta. A third of a cup of rice.
A third of a cup.
Yes,
that's
and it's not
then.
Right. And you say I don't think I can have 4 servings,
Yeah.
but these servings are very
tiny.
Yes, they're controlled. So
I mean, a third of a cup is 1 serving.
1 serving of rice.
So a cup of rice would be my 3 to 4.
Yes, exactly. Good, you got it.
Okay.
Yep. So
these are not human being servings you're talking about.
Well,
healthy human beings. Healthy.
You see how they can add up pretty quickly.
So what would a baked potato be?
How big is it? If it's the size of a computer mouse, that's a serving. If it's the size of a 2 computer mouse, that's 2 servings. So that's 30 grams.
The size of a small football. That's too big.
I would say that's too big.
Now, this is an important one because it goes to carbs, but we have to discuss this one, alcohol.
Yeah.
Because I don't know I don't always consider if I have a drink the actual carbs in the drink, because you know everything else comes in a package. If you go to a bar, you have a drink. There's no package. So, what are the guidelines on alcohol? I
don't do a lot of studies on alcohol, but I know that alcohol has very little carbs. It can have 2 to 5 grams per drink. I mean, that's not a whole lot. But the effect alcohol has on diabetes is very different than other people. It can make your blood sugar go low instead of high. Okay.
So you saying I should drink?
No, I'm not saying you should drink. No, that's not what I'm saying. So we have a reserve function. Our liver takes our storage of sugar that we don't use, and it will dump sugar for us, throughout the day, and to keep it regulated. And when we drink, our liver is trying to process the alcohol, and it forgets about regulating our sugar, and your sugar can plummet. So that's that's what I know about alcohol and diabetes.
But you're talking about, and when you talk about alcohol, is there a distinction between like beer and spirits, or you're pretty much the same?
Beer would probably have a little more than like liquor and stuff like that. Yeah.
And I know, wine, I guess it depends on what kind of wine it is.
Yeah, if it's the sweet wine, it's going to have a lot more.
It's going to have a lot.
Yeah. The dry wines have less.
Yeah. Okay.
I can't do the dry wine. So you're ready now? So.
Well, I don't know. I All right, so for someone that's, say in my situation where I do not yet have diabetes, but
Yeah.
I have been warned that it's coming if I don't do something.
Okay, so the reason it's like if you get your labs done and your doctor looks at your A1C, that's the lab that they usually do for diabetes, or they do the glucose tolerance test. If your A1C is above 5.7, if it's at 5.8 or higher, you're pre-diabetic. So say your A1C is 5.8, then they would say, you might want to go see a dietitian on how to control this with your diet and start an exercise regimen. So yeah. And I would do the same thing for a diabetic person than I would for a diabetic.
Okay, so there wouldn't be any real difference in terms of diet or exercise?
It would be the same.
Do you know what your A1C is?
The actual number? No. I just know that it wasn't pretty.
Well, you might next time want to actually find out what it is, so you can kind of keep a number in your head, so you kind of know how you're doing. I'm just saying.
Is that what you do?
Yeah. I keep up with mine. So I know when I go, I ask my doc, what was it? We talk about it. What was it last time? We compared. Did it go up? Did it go down? And so I know I'm either doing something good or I need to do something some more.
So yeah, the way you can do that is to get a meter. I brought one. You can test your blood sugar, in the morning and 2 hours after you eat, and make sure it's within the range. Before you eat should be under 100, and then after you eat should be under 140. So yeah.
You do that?
I used to. I used to do it 3, 4, 5 times a day, but I just got to the point where I've kind of learned. I mean, if my sugar is 220, it's 220. I mean, clearly, I take my medicine in the morning, then if I eat some cookies, some honey buns, it's going to be high.
Is that what you typically do?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I used to do that on a regular basis. My doctor still wants me to, but after about 5 years, I just kind of keep up with my A1C because that's over a long. Your A1C looks at your blood sugar over a period of time. And so
this will help you predict what it's going to be, so it can kind of, when you get the lab, you won't be surprised. But yes, the A1C is a measurement of how you've been controlling your sugars over 3 months. So they take every 3 months your red blood cells die, and it measures what's been sticking to them. So the percentage of sugar sticking to them, and so 6.5% is a diagnosis of diabetes. Yes.
Now, when you were talking about portions, you mentioned water vegetables.
Yes, I call them water vegetables, and that because it makes people kind of visualize and kind of feel how it feels in the mouth. So when you eat a bean, it's kind of starchy, right, when you chew it. But when you eat lettuce, it's kind of watery, right? So I say water vegetables because broccoli is watery, and lettuce is watery, and cucumbers and tomatoes and onions and all that good stuff. I call them water vegetables because they're non-starchy. Starchy vegetables are your beans, peas, corn, and potatoes. And
those are all high carb?
Yes.
Okay.
The starchy ones, yes.
All right, because see, I always think of beans as being protein, but
they are
protein and carb.
They're both, yes.
See,
and I'm giving you a serving, which is that half a cup is 15 grams of carb, okay?
Yeah.
You might get more potato than you do beans or whatever, volume-wise, but it just depends on what vegetable it is.
So I'm assuming what you call water vegetables, you can have as much of as you want.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a good assumption. Yes.
Okay.
Half a plate twice a day is the recommendation, but if you want to have them in between, that's fine with me.
All right. Now you told me when we talked earlier that cheese was not bad.
Cheese is considered a protein.
Yeah.
Of course, if you choose the low-fat and the non-processed cheese, because those have a lot of salt and a lot of other things that we don't need. So mozzarella, natural cheeses, like the sharp cheddar, the mozzarella, and things that you can buy at a cheese counter, or you can buy them in the package. That's fine. Yeah, and those are a good thing to eat with your carb. So,
but cheese is not a problem like dairy is a problem.
Milk is a problem.
Milk is a
problem. So, good question. Yeah. A good assumption. Or no, but anyway. Yeah. So milk is a carb, but cream is a fat. Okay, so the three macronutrients are fat, protein, and carbohydrate. So milk is a carbohydrate and cream is a fat. So they do separate them, and then cheese is a protein. So those are the three different types of the dairy, but they're separate.
So
That's where people get confused. Yeah.
diabetically, you would avoid milk and cream.
Milk.
Milk. Cream is okay.
Cream is okay.
You don't have to worry about fat.
Well, you do if you're taking insulin, yeah, and it could affect you if your pancreas is having a problem making insulin down the road, because fat works as a barrier to insulin, and we can get really technical with this if you want.
No.
Okay, no.
So no milk.
No.
Well, is it?
Yes, you can have milk, 8 ounces a serving.
But now, I don't want to get difficult because, like I'm one of those people, thanks to Doc. I do know some people are, they're not big on milk. I know you have the whole milk industry, but some people, I've seen some that they really think milk can have harmful effects on us. That we don't have to have milk because it's not a natural. We're the only mammal that drank milk past birth age, really. And we drinking milk from a cow. That's not necessarily. So I know some people are lactose intolerant.
Right.
And so I know most of us, if we stop drinking or eating dairy products over a period of time, our body will stop producing the enzymes that break down milk, I think. So I'm saying, but I'm still torn about milk. It's one of those things that kind of, I don't know.
Well, it is one of the foods that provide the calcium that we need. That's why we recommend it, because it does. People recognize milk. They're familiar with it. They're not familiar with a whole lot of other foods that have calcium. Right? You can't eat the volume that you need to get what you need from other foods. So milk is one of the best things that has the calcium that people need in their diet.
Quick questions, because we don't have a lot of time. Juicing, because I've tried that, and you can take a whole head of green leafy vegetables, and you just get like a little bit of juice out of that. Is that enough to really? Is it better to juice those green leafy vegetables or just eat them?
I say just eat them. Other people have their preferences. I say just eat them. They have the fiber and all that good stuff that you need for your, for your, I call it the microbiome. It's called the microbiome. It's your healthy bacteria in your gut, and you do need fiber for that. So the more fiber, the better. When you're juicing, you miss out on that. Of course, you can juice with the fiber if you want to drink the pulp if you want to. That's good.
But juicing breaks the fiber down.
You're leaving the fiber behind.
Leaving
Yeah, you're just taking the juice.
So you're just getting the nutrients, supposedly, I guess.
Yeah.
Well,
I got a bunch of compost for you from the juicing, because all the pulp, you might want it. I've been saving it for you.
we're coming up on a break. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this.
My college offers classes to meet my educational and career goals.
With opportunities outside of the classroom,
Where the faculty know me by name.
My college can prepare me for my career.
I can earn an associate's degree and transfer credits toward my bachelor's.
My college is a top military-friendly college.
My college is affordable.
It's close to home.
My college is a state college within the University System of Georgia.
It's where excellence begins.
We are.
We are.
We are.
We are GHC, Georgia Highlands College.
Welcome back to Community Watch. We've been having a conversation with Andrea Lee, nutritionist at Harbin Clinic. And if you want expert help with your diet, exercise, have your doctor do a referral to the Diabetes Education Center. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. At Harbin Clinic.
At Harbin Clinic. And you can get a diet program prescribed for you.
Yep.
And all the advice you care to hear.
Or don't hear.
Or don't care to hear. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us. We will see you next week on Community Watch.